Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Ninja Warrior podcast. Tonight, it's finally time, people. We're covering stage 1 of the national finals. Yeah, for the final time ever, we're talking about Mount Midoriyama in Las Vegas. Wow, what a night this is gonna be. Yeah, just speaking from opinions, I don't really think I want it to, end. But you know what? I think this was timely and very bittersweet. Nothing lasts forever. I think it's alright. Yeah, realistically, the show's been going really downhill lately. But, you know what? What I will say about these 2 episodes of Stage 1 is that they're pretty fucking good.
Yeah. They're good for season 16 standards. I think we should set that up too. I think we should set that up first, right?
Yeah. So, they're definitely the best episodes of the season. Episode 2 is definitely much better than episode 1. Just based off of how intense it got by the end of it. But, I think these are much more of an improvement over season 15's episodes where it kind of just... And season 15 and 14's episodes, I should say. Because both of those scenes, I didn't really like to see the episodes in general. They all just didn't work for me all that much. But here on these first 2 Vegas finals, the 2 parts I'm going to be covering today, I think they were pretty well done. I think, honestly, I enjoyed almost most of these episodes. Most of both these episodes.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good note to start on here. The fact that we already have a good impression we're going into we already have a good impression on these episodes. But starting off here, we got stage 1 here. The only really real modification to this course was the addition of the barrel wall instead of three-wing circus. I greatly prefer this.
Yeah, so, we didn't talk about the women's special because we, still don't have a copy of it. I think at this point we probably won't talk about it just because it's not really something on our radar.
Yeah, it's not the show hasn't been fucking in our face all season with the fact that Addie Herman won. I don't even think I really care enough to talk about it at this point. The show really... I'm pretty sure the show has talked about her winning the competition in every single appearance of hers.
Yeah, because that's the only thing she's done. I understand, that's her biggest accomplishment, technically speaking, but, it's annoying.
Yeah, definitely. But either way, though, the barrel wall. Yes, having a supersized version of a symbol of an obstacle that's already used, that is not a new obstacle, is unfortunate. That's the fact that we, don't have many new obstacles this season. It's still a really nice addition to stage 1. I think it definitely finishes. I think it definitely fixes the worst problem on last year's stage 1, and that was the three-wing circus and how kind of complicated it was.
Yeah, I think the gamble might have been a little bit worse. I still think that obstacle's a little too complicated for its own good.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree with that too, but I think this kind of an improvement is much better, and I kind of wish the entire season was like this, including season 15.
Yeah, definitely, because this is just much better. It also just looks a lot better on stage 1. It looks a lot more smooth, so I can greatly appreciate it. Yeah, but aside from that, the rest of the course remained the same, including the time limit of 2 minutes and 50 seconds. I think one thing to note with both episodes is that it really felt tight. This time limit, it really felt like almost no one could, get any kind of, get ahead of that clock at any point. It really felt like no one was on a fast pace.
Yeah, and as we'll go into part 1 and part 2, I think you'll actually kind of see that because, the ones this season, yes, there were some fast times. They were super spread out, and it kind of always felt like if a ninja made it, they just barely made it, Nothing crazy, which I think is good. I think, honestly, stage 1's time limit should be lenient enough, and yes, this felt a little bit much in some cases, clearly speaking, this was a good time limit because people were really struggling with it throughout the season. Last year, we really didn't have a problem with people timing out all that much. Here, that's definitely a different case. We had several people time out at the net, and we also had several people just barely make it. Honestly, I think this time it was really good. Really good, despite the fact that it was just the same as last year. And I don't even know if, just the ninjas got worse, so like filming changed things, or the battle will really cause that much time. I would think the battle would have taken less time. Like, just in general.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit weird that was what was going on, but it was pretty cool. Honestly, I think the stage one, of course, is definitely one of the best ones we've seen. I think, quite frankly, if you want my opinion, I just kind of wish that, like, we could iron out the real problems of the stage one course, aka the Gambler, and just take that out, waste the roller coaster with the double dipper, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I would agree for sure. I mean, if it were my choice, yeah, I would probably put the double dipper there, and then for the Gambler, just put a brand new obstacle there that kind of mimics the style. I think my biggest problem with this is the fact that they have to mimic the half-pipe attack from the first couple seasons. Like, an obstacle like that always has to be there, whether it's a Sonic Curve, Parkour one, the Jeep and Tire one, like, it always has to be an obstacle like that. That includes a little bit of jogging, and then once season 9 came on, they incorporated a rope, and they've stuck with that. That's the way I see it. I think, honestly, the Gamble was too much, but you know what? It's fine.
Yeah. So, anyway, let's get on to the first one of the night, that being Sydney Yee. Honestly, not the competitor I expected to start with, but definitely a good one to start with, because she did pretty decent for a rookie. Okay, not only getting all the way to the jumping spider, but sticking the landing, which only Barclay Saka has ever done at her size at 5 feet, and then also gets all the way through it, and while yes, she timed out the Gambler, still quite the impressive one.
Yeah, and honestly, to me, it felt like, a renaissance of Jalisa Himka from last year. As she did exactly the same, so just a wee bit farther.
Yeah, I think it's actually kind of unfortunate, like, we saw her, get do so well on this course, because she's not even really she's never gonna be able to show any of those improved skills going forward. Yeah, that's an interesting thing to talk about, too, with the Wookiees that are going onto this course, because this is their only shot at Vegas, like, ever. Like, at the real Mount Odoriyama, like, even if they keep on competing, which is most likely, they won't get to try the course that they trained for all this time. Or at least, like, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially considering the Fenowins who aren't able to win here, like get knocked out at stages 1 and 2. They're just the people who aren't able to do as well as they did last year. Wavia, so just get to stage 4. Like, this is our last shot. It really does hit hard. And I think, honestly, if you want my opinion, I think that was what really made these episodes hit home. The fact that so many ninjas tried this course and they had to clear it, or else they would never get to clear again. Like, I think that's what made this episode hit more for me, especially when we got into the later parts of not only this episode, but also the next one as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a way of looking at it, definitely. After that, we had David White, the Cake Ninja, and, okay, I'm sorry, but honestly, this one was just stupid. It was just, like, stupid humorous.
That's a way of putting it. David White, he had a segment about just the fact that he gained weight since the finals, which was just humorous that they made the segment about that. But they just can't give up the cake. To the point to where he smeared frosting all over his face and ate a cake at the beginning of the course, similar to the qualifiers. Unfortunately for him, but humorously for us, this did not give him kind of good luck. As long as he made it to the very end of the course, he kind of timed out at the very end.
Yeah, I think what makes this one even more humorous is that he put a cupcake on top of the buzzer, and when he got there, after the timer had already gone off, the thing fell off and fell right in front of him. Like, that right there, I think just cemented how not serious this felt to me. Like, I blurted out laughing when I saw the fact that the cake just fell off the buzzer. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, it was just like rubbing salt in the open wound. Like, that must hit super hard for him. And the fact that, he won't get a chance to really kind of redeem himself from something like that, like, that is kind of crazy.
Yeah. You know what? Really bittersweet, I think. Anyway, after that we had
Caitlin Bergstrom in a fast forward segment. Yup, she ended up going out on the giant roller coaster, and then we had Jacob Owenstein, who supposedly went out surprisingly after taking a hit to the face on the barrel roll, went out on the jumping spider, and then we had Vincent Payne, who was knocked out by the gambler.
Yeah, then the next shown one, that being John Mack. Oh, can they shut up about this guy? I'm sorry. Can they just shut up?
Yeah, so he's basically have turned into one of those ninjas who's only shown for his fucking story about his dad who committed suicide. I get it, it's like, yeah, and this guy actually does have some skills, so it's not like it's that bad, but to me, it's just, but to us, it's just annoying, because they keep on bringing it up over and over again, just like they did with this segment here, and it really wasn't much different. They kind of focused on the aftermath of what happened, but, like, there really isn't much to go on about, really.
Yeah, no, not really. It's the same segment as the last time. What we gotta say,
Yeah, Mac himself, though, he did really well on stage 1, getting all the way to the buzzer to become the night's first finisher.
Yeah, with 10 seconds to spare, that was quite the wicked one, quite frankly. And yeah, I'm just, I'm just kind of glad he was able to move on, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Really happy to see him move on, and it's so good to see him do something like that for his dad, even if, the segments like that. I think, at segments like that, I think one thing to know, actually, about the segment is the fact that he's also, the third person to, step on stage 1 and, have his dad pass away and that be his story. Because we also had Zach Day from Season 10, and what other ninja I'm trying to think of for the like of me.
I actually think there was someone later this episode that had that thought, which is why you're thinking of it.
Huh. I guess we'll get there then.
Yeah, but you absolutely have a point that, that is absolutely not a new thing for stage 1. I mean, Zach Day, that was even worse for him back then because it actually fell on the anniversary of his father's death, so that must have hit even harder for him.
Yeah. Funny, we talk about Zach Day of all ninjas.
Yeah! We've never talked to him on the channel because he hasn't competed since season 11. Honestly, that's unfortunate for the guy because he was one of the up-and-coming rookies of season 10.
Yeah, actually, you're right. After that, we had a fast-forward segment featuring Taylor Johnson, which, similar, just like last year, she came very close to making history as the shortest person to get through the jumping spider, but just like last year, she did a really good attempt at getting through the chute, but she wasn't able to stick it, and it fell right there. Unfortunately, history will never be made because I highly doubt the jumping spider is going to be in a racing format.
Definitely not in the size it was. I mean, technically speaking, we have stuff like Spider Walking Ninja Jr., but, I can't really see that being on a racing course in Vegas anymore, so, yeah.
I feel like also, too, they might try to incorporate the jumping spider in there, even if it's a smaller version, just because of how fact it is an iconic obstacle to Ninja Warrior, and it's one of, I think, 4 or so obstacles that have appeared on every season.
Maybe. I think, I don't know. I'm trying to think of it right now. I don't know if, how many have actually appeared on every season. I feel like it's just I think it's just a jumping spider on the wall, right?
Something like that. My mind is thinking of, maybe there might be others, but really those two are, the only ones that have, stuck through till the end. They've always been there, and, it's never been different. Yeah, so, I mean, maybe there might be others. Yeah, if it comes up next episode, maybe I will have an answer. Probably not, but, But, it's an interesting thing to think about, that maybe they might end up bringing the jumping spider back.
I mean, it's also a possibility that, they might make those racing courses, the biggest finals as best they can. Make it, a reminiscence of Stage 2 from back then, Or, from right now, actually, because Stage 2 is a race now.
Yeah, I guess. I think honestly we'll have to see what happens with that whole deal. I mean, we can be pissed all we want, but quite frankly, it's not the worst thing in the world. It might make the season better. It might make the season better. We really don't know.
I can't say it would make the season better. I mean, I get that. Like you've said, at this point, it's a different show. Like, I'm not sure if you can really count it.
I mean, it's still like the same show. It's just same show, different goal. I think that's it.
Yeah. It's a difficult playing ground, I think.
Yeah. After that, we had Xavier Dancer, who had quite the one as well. Where he didn't let go on the first round of the roller coaster, but he was able to get it on a second attempt, surprisingly. He made it all the way to the gamble where he was not, where he fell. And then we had Owen Dyer. Yup, Owen Dyer, he had a rough one as well, where he ended up getting slowed down on the gambler. And then once he got off that obstacle, he also got a hit to the jugular on the dipping woods.
Yeah, that must hurt a lot.
Yeah, I would think too. After that, he really didn't have the energy to finish the course, and by that point he was almost timed out anyway, so he ended up letting go of the thread, the needle, and heading back to the platform, which was kind of unfortunate end for his season, kind of like a gutsy one there.
Yeah, definitely. After that we had Jesse Graff, and I don't know, this was just kind of hard to watch for me.
Yeah, I think it's actually kind of interesting. I think it is interesting because Graff, she barely made it, because she was matched up with another woman who didn't deserve to be in the semis and fell in the first obstacle because she fell on the wing nuts. Like, that's some really interesting ground for they come into Vegas with. And I'd want some revenge too, definitely. But just, she had a decent enough one, I wish I could say she did better, but she ended up falling into the stereotype of all the other women on stage one from back then, where she made it to the jumping spider with decent pace, and then cleared it and got through, which is revenge on the women's competition from last year. However, she ended up on the gamble. She lost a lot of time, and by the time she got to the warp wall, she had like 40 seconds, and they were like, no, there was no way. And unfortunately, she wasn't even able to clear the wall.
Yeah, that sucked. Like, it just kind of hit really hard that, like, Graff couldn't clear this course.
Yeah, it makes me really curious because, like, Graff, she's done well, since season 8. She's been able to appear on Sasuke and stuff, and she's done really well on Veil. But since season 8 here in the US, she really has, like, fallen down in her career and really hasn't had a run like that.
Yeah, I mean, season 9 was very similar. She had a very similar season where she did decent in the qualifiers, did super well in finals, and then, did super well on Vegas Stage 1, and then fell on the cargo net, and, like, that right there, that might have been the end of it, because, from then on, she was on one woman in season 10, so she couldn't compete in Vegas 10. She fell on a double dipper in season 11, and then the next 3 years would just be a giant slump for her. Her going out early year after year, like, that was crazy. And then the injury in season 12 as well, like, and then season 15, a lackluster performance, like, I guess, like, this was a pretty good season for her. Like, she hit a buzzer in qualifying. Yeah, the semis were definitely an upset for her, but, she still technically moved on. I think it's some really weird thin ground. You're definitely right on that, like you just said. It's just kind of weird,
Yeah. I think I guess it also, what I was trying to get to was the fact that I'm wondering how she will even do in stuff like the World Cup and whatnot.
Yeah, because, just to know, we have not seen the World Cup. We do plan to cover it, but we wanted to wait till the season was over till we watched it together. We were actually planning on meeting up for it. So, yeah, it's kind of the sad of that.
Yeah, we can talk more about it at the end of the episode because, that is going to be that is something I want to cover with you guys, and it's something that, would just be a more, on topic to talk about during the end card, during the outro, but, yeah, but it is actually an interesting question, is Graff, like, losing her touch? Because we do know she's, like, she's she's at age 40 now, so she's, despite what it really seems like and what she looks like, she's still one of the older ninjas, which is really surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Graph's gonna keep on competing. She has so much fun doing this. Like, even with stage 1 not being a thing anymore, like, I'm also really curious too, like, how will they even do with the women this season with the whole racing format? Like, it's not exactly, it's not exactly how it worked on Team Ninja, where the teams just had one woman on there and they just matched them up. No, what's most likely is that it's going to be a top 100 all racing throwdown. And I'm just like, the women can't hold up with the men like that. Like, I am kind of wondering, what are they going to do? Have like a separate women's bracket? Like, it's kind of curious.
Yeah, I mean, at some point they're gonna have to have the two factions collide in some way. So, I think I am just a wee bit curious just for that idea.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, after that, we had
Jonah Brown in a fast-forward segment.
Yep, he ended up going on the giant roller coaster. Then we had Annabella Heinrichs, who went on the jumping spider. And then Nick Hansen.
Yep, this one kind of hit, hard. Like, Nick Hansen, he hasn't been here since season 10, you know. We were expecting him to probably at least do decently. And while, yes, he did fine, unfortunately, he did not clear, as he kind of became another victim of the clock once more as it was running down. And he ended up going out in the tipping birds under all that pressure. And, yeah, he'll never get revenge on stage 1. It's kind of interesting to think about.
Yeah, definitely. After that, we had the next shown one, that being Colton Scuster, who... Scutler? I don't know how to say his name right.
It's spelled weirdly, so, like, you don't immediately get that feeling. I got that. But, yeah, Colton Scutler, however you say it.
Even you're struggling.
Yes, even I'm struggling. I don't think we even struggled last time. But anyway, he ended up becoming the night's second finisher. Well, yes, he did have a segment about him being a monkey cosplayer, and it was a really bad segment. It kind of just keyed man off to make monkey puns throughout the one. The one itself wasn't really all that special, and he cleared with a decent time as well.
Yeah, I guess there wasn't really much more to go on about. After him, we had Madeline Mandela's in a fast-forward segment where she went on the jumping spider. And then Grant Cunningham, who went out and thread the needle, timing out.
Yup, then we had Isaiah Thomas, who cleared the course with 25 seconds left. And then we had the next shown one, that being Kyle Solzy. Man, this is one of the best ones of the night. Yeah, I mean, Kyle didn't get... I mean, it was just really cool to see Kyle get all this showtime this season. He really did get all the spotlight he deserved this season. And I'm really happy for him, you know?
Definitely. He only got a segment about triumphantly returning to Vegas after his very early fall during season 10, his only other appearance. So he felt like he had something to prove, and definitely he did. He definitely did, for the most part.
Yeah, he went all the way to the gamble. He was knocked out on the roulette, trying to jump to the ace of spades, so he ended up missing. Just kind of an unfortunate end, you know? I don't think I have much else to say, just kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely. After that, we had Kevin Rodriguez in a fast-forward segment.
Yep, he had a really good one on clearing the course with 17 seconds left, but I think the main attraction during his fast-forward segment is someone who really should have been shown, Noah Munier.
Yeah, like, goddamn, like, I know we kind of shafted him to the side last year, but this season, they really are doing that to him here in the editing, because not only have they not shown him up to this point, and didn't show his one here, he also got the fastest time on stage 1 overall.
Yeah, despite the fact that we have night 2 to still go over, no one beat his time, though it was almost beaten by a competitor, who we'll get to later. Yeah, Noah Munier was not shown, but yet he had the fastest time of the night by fastest time on stage 1. What the hell?
Yeah, like, from what we saw from his one, it was like a dead-on sprint. He was having so much fun on the course. I again, like we said, I wish Noah Munio was getting Showtime.
Yeah, like, I know, like, I think it's most likely his stages 2 and 3 one will be shown. But, like, in general, all his qualifier, semis, and stage 1, all of them were pretty impressive, so the fact that they weren't shown at all is just a little unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely being one of the stealthiest ninjas because, it's crazy. He's doing just as well as he did last year, but yet he's getting the same kind of treatment. Just like someone like Evan Andrews.
Yeah. Speaking of Evan Andrews, he didn't compete this season.
No, they didn't let him on. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, you're right. Seems really dickish.
Yeah. After that, we had Noah's girlfriend, Addie Herman, who unfortunately got the stereotypical flash screen that dooms ninjas. Yeah, this basically is what happened. She had a really good one, getting all the way to the gambler, where she started to lose time rapidly, and then she got onto the wall where she took some time to rest, and while yes, she made it on her first try, by that point she had about 30 seconds left, and where she was knocked out by the dipping birds. Yeah, kind of unfortunate that it just ended up ending the same way as the last two ones really have. Yeah, I think that hit really hard just because Herman was like, one of like a couple of female ninjas, excuse me, that were going into Vegas that I could see clearing. The fact that she didn't, was just kind of made me a little bit worried.
Yeah, I mean, we still had Taylor after this. We still had, surprisingly enough, this one more woman who did really well as well coming up. And we also had one other veteran who we'll get to, who was kind of a surprise showing, and we'll get to how that really works during this discussion in episode 2. But honestly, though, I'm just glad that Herman got one more shot. Even if she didn't clear here, she at least cleared stage 1 during the women's competition twice, and sometimes that's good enough,
Yeah, even though someone like, Isabella Wakeham never cleared stage 1, or like, Kate, what's her name, the previous champ, fuck.
Oh, I know who you mean too, damn, I don't know her name either, actually, shit. Why aren't you helping, John?
If I knew the name, I would have said something and made you all look bad, but I distinctly don't really know who you're talking about. It was the diabetes girl, like, something like that, but she also got a buzzer on stage 1 and even on stage 2 during the women's competition.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's also an interesting topic, but I also just think it's like a discussion for like Taylor Green's one when we get to it.
Yeah, definitely, when it's all like said and done. After that we had Daniel Gill in the next shown one. He had not really much of a super special story. He did, mention that he was having a kid, and, like, he wanted to be a father and all that. That's really cool, Gill's, moving on to the next stage of his life. That's really cool. Oh, definitely. Gill had a really good run, getting all the way to the buzzer, and, one notable thing about his one is that it finally broke the record for most consecutive stage 1 buzzers, which was previously held by him and Ryan Arnold as of last season at 6 in a row. Now Gill has broke it and now permanently made the record 7 in a row. Quite an accomplishment, and I'm really happy to see that record be broken, because I was getting kind of worried that it wouldn't be broken.
Why did you want that to be broken so badly, dude?
I don't know, it's just kind of something I was thinking about. I'm just like, Gill's really the only person who can break it, and so many people have gotten 5 in a row, and then Arnold's the only one who gotten 6. Like, I wanted to see it, and though Gill did have a tough time, including a save on the thread the needle where he almost peeled off, still a good one and ended up breaking the record.
Yeah, I mean, not acknowledging how cool that is. Like, that, that's how he ends his time on stage 1, that he breaks the record and everything. And they didn't even acknowledge that as, like, history and stuff either.
Yeah, considering how much they forced the idea of history down our throats with even more ninjas we're going to be talking about later. I really think this should have been always given some smile. I always mentioned that, he now has the record.
Yeah, definitely. After that, we get Isha Valentino in the next fast forward segment where she was unfortunately knocked out by the slide surfer, which surprised me.
Yeah, I mean, at least a second obstacle, right?
Yeah, it's a fucking slide surfer. This thing is so easy. Like, I'd be pretty upset if I went out like this.
Yep. After that, we had Donovan Matoya, who unfortunately also had a shocking fail, getting knocked out by the jumping spider. And then we have Gavin Obi.
Yeah, so, Obi, he, of course, was coming into Vegas with the second fastest time of the night on stage one, and almost getting a safety pass, losing it to Jay Lachey. Yeah, it was kind of unfortunate that Obi, despite his showing in semis, ended up getting knocked out by the Gambler, probably due to his much shorter size compared to other men.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. One thing to note about Gavin Obi, and I think, and more about Jay. One thing to know is that this is more about Jay Lachey and that safety pass we were talking about. But as of now, I actually got word from one of my ninja coaches, Tom, who actually went to ANW 15 and 16's filming, and actually was there doing it. Actually on how Jay Lachey actually got injured. Apparently, what they did, they had ninjas test obstacles just to make sure they worked, like, and obviously testers and everything, but they literally had everyone run on the obstacle. And from what I heard from Tom, this is actually something they've done for many seasons now. They've done this with like the double tipper and stuff. But like it's just kind of weird that that's how he got injured.
Really? Like, that's how he got injured?
Yeah, so he came to Vegas with his safety pass from season 16 on, ready to compete, but then he got injured he got his ankle injured while trying the three-ring circus as a tester, along with everyone else, and he had to get carried out of Vegas. And yeah, that's probably the main reason why Obi was not given the safety pass, because it happened right on the set.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that would have happened if Jay was injured beforehand?
I don't know. I don't think so, but it's interesting. I personally think Obi should have gotten the pass if Jay couldn't fulfill that role. But, I kind of get why they didn't give it to him either, as obviously, technically speaking, he didn't win the race. And it's not, and ANW did address his absence during this season, as they did mention him when talking about Najee, which is even if he wasn't the reason why Najee was replaced.
Yeah, and we'll get to Najee in just a bit, as he is the next runner.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that, but yeah, he's next up on the list. Timed that perfectly. Good job, me. Okay, so Najee Richardson initially did not qualify for the Vegas finals. However, he ended up being able to go in due to the fact that someone who got injured had to withdraw. Now, this person wasn't Jay. Ninja Wiki specifically notes that someone we'll see later, that being James Sanella, was the person who actually replaced Jay Lewis. So, the question was, who the fuck did Najee Richardson replace?
Yeah, you told me you had, like, some kind of update on that, actually.
Yeah, so that Tom guy I mentioned just earlier, who was at Vegas, who's at my gym, I asked him if he possibly might have known who Najee replaced, and he did not say he knew exactly, but he said that at one point he probably did know, and it wasn't really on the top of his head at the point. So, yeah. Not really known for sure. As of what the show says, they just said that someone withdrawed. And I kind of wish they weren't so vague on that. Like, I get the fact that they wanted to show Najee because they wanted to give him a tribute and all that. And I really do appreciate that as well, because Najee's someone who deserves this kind of treatment. And treatments, definitely. We can get to it in a second here. But just, I kind of wish they were specific on who he actually replaced.
Yeah, it's really weird that they want... considering, I have a small hunch that, like, they just didn't want to say that Najee was a legacy invite, which is something that was introduced in the second episode.
Yeah, and during that recording, during that part, we'll definitely have a more in-depth analysis on the whole legacy invite thing. But to go into it briefly, because this is the first time we're bringing it up, some ninjas were invited, because of their legacy status, and Najee could have easily have been one of them just because they wanted one more last showing of him and wanted him to compete in Vegas. I just think that would have been interesting, with Najee. It would have been really interesting. I just feel like that might have been the case here, and might have been what they wanted to do with him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he was already in Vegas for filming for season 15, so that might have been what happened. We really don't know. We really don't know. I mean, I don't really get why they would lie about that, but it's a thought, you know? Like, I don't think it's really a definite thought, but it's a thought nonetheless.
Yeah, Najee unfortunately didn't have the best one in the world. Well, he did make it all the way to the gamble, but unfortunately was not able to get inside the delivery on the on the table. On the table part of the obstacle where he just missed the delivery entirely, which was kind of just a woof, kind of just a unfortunate way for him to end his career because he didn't even really gas out at all like last year or anything. Really didn't feel like that satisfying again. He kind of just fell. He kind of just fell and like that just happened. Everything went by so fast.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm really glad though that Najee's been getting this kind of treatment. I think I said it last time actually when we talked about the semis. But Najee actually does remind me of Travis Rosen a lot here. With the fact that, well, yes, Travis retired because was much older than Najee and was like constantly like worrying his family and kind of had to give it up for the sake of his well-being, well-being. So he ended up also. And his fail was also very similar on stage one, but they also gave him a very similar tribute as well. They really honored the legacy of Travis Rosen during that run with the ending. And here they definitely do that with Najee as well. I was very impressed with the showing they gave him. They gave him a nice segment, and honestly, well, yes, the end of his run was unfortunate, just the way it went. Yeah, I think it was edited together quite well, which is kind of surprising for ANW standards. I thought they just would kind of overblow it, but it doesn't really feel like that, you know?
Yeah, I think it's a really good thing for you to be able to say in all this.
Oh, yeah, definitely. After that, we had Ben Balance in a fast forward segment where he was knocked out by the gambler, and someone who should have totally been shown afterwards, Luke Beckstrand.
Yeah, like, Luke, he's been totally shafted to the side this season. He's done really well in the qualifiers and semis, but just because he's the brother of Kai, that's probably only what given him a mention. But unfortunately, he hasn't really been fully shown. I think he should have been at this point. He quit with 20 seconds left, which was a pretty good time. But then, of course, we had to give Kai the showtime. Well, his one wasn't even special.
Yeah! So, Kai came in with a safety pass, which really is funny to me. Like, as I was thinking about it, I was like, I bet you Kai wishes since he cleared here that he could just trade in his safety pass from this year for last year where he just fucked up on the jumping spider.
Yeah, I mean, technically speaking, because of course Roy didn't change, he was able to do a safety pass kind of thing. But, like, yeah, it is kind of interesting that, like, he had a safety pass, but couldn't even use it for the thing he would have wanted to use it for.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. But he ended up finishing with 43 seconds left, which was one of the faster times in the night. And then we had Josh Salinas.
Yep, Josh Salinas, man, this was a really good one to see too. As he had a segment about fatherhood and how he's been wanting to be a dad for and how he's peeing back on Ninja because he wants to create memories for his daughter Skyward, and she's honestly adorable to me. But this segment really was just emotional because not only was this like a really good thing for him to be doing here, it was also for the fact that Josh Salinas mentioned that he didn't have a father growing up as his father died in a car accident when he was 5.
Yeah, that hits, Like, you never really had that treatment, and you never really got the chance. And what hit even harder, as he mentioned in the segment, is that Salinas just passed his father in age, and that's kind of crazy, Like, if I was in his situation, that would hit me really hard, too.
Yeah, like Salinas is really cheering up during the segment, and I'm really glad he was given this kind of showtime. It wasn't like tragedy for the sake of tragedy. It really did feel like this needed to be talked about because it was his whole motivation for coming back, and it definitely added some real emotional weight to his run.
Yeah, definitely. Salinas had a really good run getting all the way to Thread the Needle, where he started having problems with the cane, trying to get it off the hook. He eventually was able to, but by that point he had about 20 seconds left and was barely even hanging on. So when he went to the and was kind of gassed out because he was just spent 20 seconds hanging on the damn thing. So when he went to the cargo net, he was too exhausted to grab it and fell there. And yeah, unfortunately, that was it. He was knocked out right there.
Yep, that was it right there. Unfortunately, like we said, that kind of hits really hard just because of the emotional weight. I guess that's what you were talking about too, John, about the whole father thing with Salinas you were thinking of. Yeah, I guess so. But I don't think it really devalues Salinas' one that he had a segment like that. I would say that it actually upscales it a lot too. Upscales it a lot this time around. Yeah, I think it's a difference because Salinas' story wasn't really talked about before this stage one. He wasn't shown at all. He was fast forwarded the last two times. So seeing him heal and him giving the chance to talk about it, that's worth it, It's not like John Mack from earlier where he's already talked about his father's passing in the semis, and his segment's already copy and pasted from that one. Like, they just had it there for the sake of having it there. That's the difference.
Yeah. After that, we had Jennifer Sanders in a fast-forward segment.
Yep, she ended up going out on the barrel wall. Then we had James Sinella, who was the other ninja we mentioned earlier, who replaced Jay Lewis. He ended up going out on the gamble, unfortunately. Then we had someone else who most definitely should have been shown. Oh boy, Sean Bryan.
Yep. Admittedly enough, I don't think Bryan's one was the most interesting in the world, but with him being a contender to win the $1 million, I think he definitely should have been shown. But him always getting a fast forward is nice. He ended up clearing the course with 10 seconds to spare. I'm really glad to see him move on, definitely.
Yeah, I think you talked about it last time, but he's one of the people I'm hoping to see win. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. After that, we had probably one of the biggest surprises of the night. Definitely, Maddie Howard.
Yeah, this was quite the one. Before this, I never really considered Howard a contender to clear stage one at all. I was so shocked they were even giving her showtime here. But but this run was crazy, girl. Oh my god, not what I was expecting at all.
Yeah, so, Howard did get a segment about being a mom and all that, that she wants to, hit the buzzer on stage one and quote-unquote, and be the first mom or whatever. But what really proved it here was her run, where she not only got past the jumping spider, which knocked her out last year, she also got past both the gamble and the warp wall. And while yes, she ended up timing out by that point, it was still an amazing one, and kind of sucks that she'll never get a chance to really prove herself past that.
Yeah, definitely. Like I just said, was not expecting her to do that well. Howard was never someone on my radar like that. But now that she did that, if Vegas was going to be a thing next year, she would have been on my radar for fucking sure. Oh, man, that feels so hard.
Yeah, it's like seeing people like Barquay, or her, Tiana Webley, Herman, and one other ninja who we'll get to later, who we'll get to later, and one other female who we'll get to later. Never get the chance to clear stage one despite how close they've gotten in the past. That list of 5 females who we said can clear, the fact that a lot of them didn't even get a chance to prove themselves past that.
Yeah, Buckley didn't compete this season. Tiana Webley, we haven't seen her since season 14 where she went out early, so she hasn't even been able to redeem herself in that department either. I think it's just kind of crazy that's kind of what's happening. That's what happened. That's shown that Howard won't get a chance to get better and maybe clear stage one entirely. That would have been a huge moment for her.
Yeah, I if I remember correctly, Howard also did decent in the women's, but unless there's another one for season 16, which I doubt by the way, because they already had one for season 15, that would have been the first one for the year. Yeah, she wasn't. She got that close. Just what a one.
Absolutely, 100%. 100%. One of the biggest surprises ever. Here. After that, we had Cam Baumgartner, who was another one they really should have given spotlight to.
Yeah, Cam had a very gutsy one, clearing with only 3 seconds left. Like, why the fuck was that not shown? Those kinds of gutsy ones really should be shown. Yeah, it's not even like that's the only one. There's one more during episode 2 that we're gonna be talking about later, where it was even closer of a time gap between that and, the end. So, yeah, this one and definitely that other one even more so should have been shown. Like, I don't think I have much more to say. Just show Cam at this point, man. Like, he deserves all your recognition because of how good he's doing in this sport. Like, this is seriously, he's one of the top contenders, and this is the kind of shit you give him, like...
Absolutely, 100%. We've been on this tangent since it started during season 14, and it just reigns all true. It reigns all the same here.
Yep. After that, we had Jackson Twait in that same fast forward segment, and he had the clearing the course with a much faster time of almost 46 seconds, and then we had a mid one of, surprisingly enough, Flip Rodriguez.
Yeah, this wasn't much of a remarkable run, but it was still good to see Flip go through stage 1. He had really good pace all throughout, and clearing as well, with 14 seconds left on the clock. Man, Flip, I hope it's your year, bud. Absolutely.
Yeah, Flip, man, it's so good to see him clear, and I really want to see him win, because he could definitely do it. He's on the crutches. He's right there. He cleared stage 2 in ANW 14. He just got to put it all together. And I got confidence this time around since he actually cleared stage 1 this time. If he gets through stage 2, he earned it.
Definitely. After that, we had, honestly, the shock of the season, RJ Roman.
Yeah, fucking wow. This was quite the one. So RJ, going smoothly, doing really well, up to the Gambler, where he got to the Ace of Spades, and the thing started spinning on him as he was trying to dismount. And unfortunately, he ended up landing on the pad off balance, and trying to save it by just jumping the gap, but he ended up not being able to do it, grabbing the support beams, and falling off the course, similar to Austin Gray during season 14. Yeah, RJ Roman knocked out on stage 1. Thoughts? Like, oh my god.
Yeah, that was a thing. Like, I was totally expecting RJ to move on to stage 4. Go all the way there again. And the fact that he got knocked out here like that, not the way I was expecting it to go.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah, just wow. Definitely, like you said before, shock of the season. Yep, Yep. After that, we had the final one of the night, that being Vance Walker. Vance, it's Vance Walker. He really didn't have all that much special of a one. He kind of just cleared the course with 34 seconds to spare. Like, it really wasn't much of a one, really. It was just a one from Vance Walker. What we say here, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing I do want to note about his run was a comment from Matt and Akbar. Well, Akbar has, he said, he has 2% body fat, and Matt just goes, and I got the West. That is just too self-hard, man.
Yeah, you were doing pull-ups earlier this season. Cut yourself some slack.
Yeah. If we ever have a guest on the podcast, I think the one person I want to talk to is Matt Iseman.
Really?
Yeah, Matt Iseman, he's always been someone I've never seen get interviewed about the show and everything, but I would just love his unbiased thoughts about it, because he's been on it since fucking season 2. I feel like there are a lot of interesting questions you could ask him about ANW if you just had someone sit down with him and really talk with him about it.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, definitely. He's been on the show for so long, and he's done so many cool things, like the boot camp. and talk about it for so long. He's had the same kind of commentary for all that time. Like, the fact that they've kept him on for so long, too, on the same paycheck and everything, that is crazy. Like, I know this was Vance Walker's run, but I feel like Matt Eisman might be more remarkable than Vance Walker in some cases.
That's definitely an opinion, but I kind of more or less agree with you. Maybe not on the iconic and competitive level, but definitely on the sort of the legacy level, and just the fact that he's been on there since the second season. Like, it's just really crazy to see that he's still getting the call and still competing. I mean, same with Akbar too, because even if like he's been on for a little less time at season 5, being his first season, like it's still the fact that he's been on for that long. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I guess just to give Zoe Hall that little bit of mention too, because she's also part of this crew. She's also been on since season 11. I'm pretty sure she is the longest sideline reporter as of last season.
Yeah, because Christine Christine was the sideline reporter until season 10, and that was 4 seasons, and then this season was actually Zoe's 5th. So yeah, with this season actually she passed Christine Leahy as the longest running sideline reporter, and honestly good for her too. I just kind of wish she was given a bigger role, but when she is given time on the camera, she's able to do her job as sideline reporter pretty decently for the kind of role that she has, which is really small. Most people don't even really watch her, but you know what? She does her best, and I applaud that. She does her best, and I applaud that.
Definitely. That was Vance Walker's run, and that was Vance Walker's run, and that was stage 1, part 1. Do you guys have any closing thoughts on the first part before we move on to the second? I don't think there's anything major, but just the fact that, I think this, well, yes, I do think this, episode was definitely the least interesting of the two. It was just because, like, it really just felt like one after one where nothing special happened. We still have a lot of good highlights here, and quite frankly, it's still a great episode, especially compared to every other episode this season beforehand.
Yeah, definitely. Like we said, earlier on during this episode of the podcast, we said it that the episodes here we're talking about today are the best of the season, and this definitely shows it with, just the fact that this was edited together decently well, even with the fact that they probably should have shown a couple of ninjas here, like Brian, Nuno, and Bongano, and a lot of ninjas in the second episode. It was still edited decently well. Like, I feel like the only really, bad editing parts were, John Mack's one, for example. Like, these 2 episodes are really good, and this one, oh yes, it ain't the most exciting of the two. It's still really a decent watch.
Yeah, definitely. With that, we can move on to the second episode.
Which started off with the one from, Ryan Stratus. Who wants to start with this? How are we going to take it? I need some direction here, because I don't really know what to say.
Okay, so for context, you guys might remember last episode, Ryan Stratus did not make the finals. He was in 3rd place on the leaderboard, on the top 2. However, ANW said fuck all that and just decided to give him a free pass to Vegas because of his time on the show, giving him a quote-unquote legacy invite. I don't know if I find this cool or stupid. Can we just call it both and be done with it? Because quite frankly, it's amazing to see Ryan Stratus attack stage 1 again, and despite the fact that it breaks the rules of the competition. Which is my opinion. I guess, yeah. I think it's just a little weird. I think, honestly, some more controversial opinions about the legacy invite thing will probably come up when we talk about Flex of Black later. Which, yeah, I think we'll save our opinions for that for then, but yeah. Generally.
Yeah, I don't think it's really all that much use to dwell on. Let's just talk about Stratus' segment.
Yeah, so once again, for probably the final time in the time on Ninja Warrior, Blair Herder was heard, which is really funny. I think it's really humorous that he got that some of his terrible commentary he got shown during these episodes or whatever. But that was the line segment, just basically him blistering about the fact that he got an opportunity to complete on stage one last time. And, well, yes, he didn't say one last time, but you know.
In context, yes.
Yep. So, with that, that he took his run on stage one, he had a decent enough run up to the jumping spider where he slowed down a lot, and then had his one end on the gambler where he was trying to not get sidetracked on the roulette, but the thing spun on him when he was jumping to the card, and he wasn't able to make it, which was unfortunate, but honestly expected. I felt like Ryan Stratus wouldn't do all that well anyway.
Maybe he had one more in him, but it just, yeah, like you just said, it didn't really seem like it was going to happen. Like you just said, it didn't really seem like it was going to happen, but I guess it was kind of cool, yeah.
It depends on how you look at it, really. We should just move on to the next runner, NASA Gilmore, who had a run that I have nothing to say about. Moving on. Serious, I got nothing.
Really?
Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay, yeah, I've been enough. Oh, yes, the segment was kind of interesting with them mimicking Matt and Alcabo doing it, and it was actually kind of funny and interesting. NASA's run was not special at all. It really was just a run. It happened. Like, yeah.
So I guess that means we'll just move on from that point.
I got nothing else to say. David's got nothing else to say. I assume you have nothing else to say, so we're just moving on at that point, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. From there, we have the first fast-forward segment of the episode, that featuring Jonah Meningo, I think his name is, I guess how you say it. He went on the jumping spider, and then we had, again, Matt Bradley.
Yeah, this guy is definitely going into the stealthiest ninja category. Like, seriously, he's been fast-forwarded 3 times, and 2 of those 3 times he got one of the fastest times of the night. Like, goddamn it.
Yeah, and Matt Bradley, like, his entire career has been completely shot-sighted by the show as well, because he hasn't really been fully shown since, like, season 13 at all, really. It was very unfortunate ends. He went out on the Dipping Birds. Honestly, just not expected.
Yeah, but then we had probably one of the more gutsy ones, Julius Ferguson.
Yeah, so, he actually still went to Vegas despite his shoulder injury, which seems like a terrible idea to me. It was a terrible idea because, he kind of got further injured from the semis and, ended up having to walk off the course after the warp wall due to horribly re-aggravating it and timing out as well.
Yeah, just a really unfortunate end to Ferguson's career, but, like, I think it's at least cool he got to try Vegas after all these years, because he's been competing since season 8. Like, he has really been there. Yeah,
and I could also think a whole bunch of people from my gym as well, the Hampton Ninja Academy, where he once from. So, like, Ferguson, I think this is despite, you know, the shoulder injury, which is definitely the reason why he wasn't able to clear stage 1 here. Still, like, what a gutsy effort to try to do so.
Yeah, definitely. After that, we had Violet Capo, who had a segment about gaining confidence through ninja, and it wasn't really entertaining. It was just fine. She ended up getting all the way up to the jumping spider, and honestly, her one was only all that special. And then we had Enzo DeFloyd Wilson getting some sort of justice by getting his one finally shown.
Yeah, unfortunately, Enzo did get a flash screen that cursed his ninjas, and it unfortunately cursed him too as he went out on the Gambler. Honestly, by this point, I might just do a record on, like, all the flash screens for all these ninjas.
Do you remember when they introduced that?
I think it was season 12 during the women's competition, but I'm not really sure. I might need to go back on that and check. But I am really curious to see, you know, how cursed it really is, if it really does have, like, a decent fail rate. I think it does, but I think it might be a little bit of a biased perspective.
Yeah. If we didn't mention it previously, he went out on the Gambler, where he just couldn't get his hand in the little delivery slot for the crafts table, but which was really unfortunate. Like, Enzo, he did so well last year, too. It's just like, you'll never get a shot at $1 million or whatever. It's a little unfortunate for him. And we know he's been working on it for a while, too.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate. Anyway, after that we had Megan Johnson in a fast forward segment.
Yep, Megan ended up going out on the Beowulf, and then we had her boyfriend Kyle Soderman, notable veteran who got fast forwarded, but I don't think his one was really all that special here, as he cleared the course and it was with 38 seconds left. Honestly, one of the fastest times in the night, faster times in stage 1 in general. So, quite frankly, it was really just Kyle had a good one on stage 1.
Are you just like running out of things like ways to say different things?
I think at this point, yes. I just don't think I have much more to go on about.
Yeah. So the next ninja, Jody Avila. That was certainly a one. Yeah, so Jody, we had a segment about having a long hiatus from beating stage 1. He hasn't done it since his first season, back in season 9, which honestly feels like more of a fluke than anything else, because previously, he hasn't been able to do it. He's timed out twice now. Well, like, he came close to timing out in season 15.
He would if he didn't fall, so yeah, that is basically correct.
Yeah, so anyway, that led to him having a lot riding on this season, and he had a decent run throughout the course. Had a little bit of trouble on the time department, but he was doing decently well, getting into the needle. Unfortunately, he was not able to get at the cane off the hook. Ended up kicking the wing that he was supposed to get the cane into, and because of that, he wasn't able to push it far enough, so he got knocked out there. Honestly, in an unfortunate place to really end his time, possibly being stage 1.
Yeah, it's also unfortunate too because Zoe was like, "We're gonna see you trying for this next year," and he's just like, "Yep." And the interesting thing is one, next year means 2025, and also no Vegas next year.
Yeah, so it's like a really hard hitter right there. Like, a one like that, hard hitter. And we're gonna get to a lot of them this night. A lot of hard hitters on the second part of stage 1, because a lot of these people, this is a last chance to possibly get a stage 1 buzzer out of themselves. And yeah, it just kind of hits hard when you don't get that, and you've been training so hard for it.
Yeah. Anyway, after that, we had a fast forward segment featuring Max Feinberg, who ended up calling the course with 7 seconds left, so good for him, getting revenge over last year. And then we had probably the worst segment of the night by far, Elijah Browning.
Yeah, no offense to Elijah, he had an amazing one clearing the course, but his segment was such a slog to watch. Like, it was about his mom who has breast cancer, and they really, really, really forced that down our throats. In typical ANW fashion, honestly, there wasn't really much more to go on about. It was just a slog to get through. They had the typical tragic music and all that shit. I'm just like, I don't care. I'm sorry. Good Grace? Like, I don't know what the fuck else to say.
I don't think that's the word. I don't think that's the pair of words I was expecting, though.
Well, you know what? That's what came out, okay?
Well, jeez, I didn't think you'd just scream in my ear, but alright then.
Alright, we can move on now. We got Chris Balins as the next show in 1. He got a segment along with Levi NY about the dipping birds once more, and how both of them are acting for revenge against that obstacle. Funnily enough, neither of them made it to the obstacle. Yeah, but I guess we might as well just talk about the ones together, just because they were very similar. Chris had a very sluggish. Chris didn't have the best one of the world, as once he got the jumping spider, he was slipping all throughout, and while yes he was able to clear, he didn't have much strength left for the Amber, as once he grabbed the card for the final jump, he ended up trying to re-grip it and then missing because the thing spins, and that knocked him out. There, and similarly enough, Levi NY, despite having a cleaner one before that, just did not get a good jump off the roulette, similar to Ryan Stratus earlier, and got knocked out there as well.
Yeah, so neither of them got their revenge on the dipping birds, which is honestly unfortunate for both of them. Something that I was really expecting at least one of them to do at that point.
Yeah, none of them even reached it. After that, we had another shown one, this time from Abby Clark, and this was quite the one to watch too.
Yeah, this was a big night for the women, like, definitely speaking. Abby Clark, she had a segment about the fact that she's been training for this and, like, trying to learn about endurance and all that stuff. One thing I want to highlight from her segment is where she went to train, which was a giant mountainside in Switzerland. Wow, that's high.
Yeah, I can't do that. I could not handle the temptation of falling off that. And when you see her fall off that, she just goes fucking downwards. And she is on a bungee, but like, I just couldn't. Like, no. Hard fucking pass.
I don't know, maybe I'll drag you there one day.
God, no! I think I'd probably break down in tears or something if I were up that high.
Really, even with safety?
Yes, even with safety. Like, I can't... That is so high up. I mean, you look at that. Take a screenshot. Show it, Crystal. Like, you see how high that is. I can't do that.
Nah, I don't even know if I can, and to be completely real with you, but I think it'd be cool to try.
Hard pass. Leave me out of it. I mean, I know I'm being such a pussy here, but, like, leave me out of it. It's a justified feel. Like, honestly, I don't really think it's really pussy territory. I think it's a very normal feel for someone to have, just Abby doesn't have that feel. Yeah. Alright, then. Anyway, so Abby had a really good one on stage 1, getting all the way to the gambler with decent time. However, she lost a lot of time on that gambler. She was able to make it through to the warp wall, where unfortunately she ended up wasting too much time. And while yes, she still cleared it and made it all the way to thread the needle, before timing out. Still, like, she wasn't able to try thread the needle. She also cleared the dipping birds, which was a first for the women here. Like, that was just really unfortunate.
Yeah, at that point, like, she's been training for that for so long, and she got really close in season 14, like, it's just quite a surprise, you know?
Yeah, definitely. After that, we had Karen Potts in a fast-forward segment.
Yep, she ended up going out on the jumping spider. Then we had David Tanzamani, who went out on the same obstacle, and Vinny Casanova, who also went out on the jumping spider. So all three of them out on the same obstacle, back to back.
Yeah, they probably didn't run back to back, but that's what happened here. After that, we had probably the more bullshit of the two legacy invites. Flex LeBlanc, who didn't even compete this season, due to the fact that she's trying to start a family with Chris. Like, this is the biggest why. Like, there was so many, like, even just considering, like, the legacy invite thing, and how, like, interesting of an idea it is. Like, I feel like there were so many ninjas who competed this season who I would give that to before someone like Flex. Like, David Campbell, Jamie Wan, even someone like Eric Middleton. Like, I feel like... First off, they should have competed this season on that front alone. And also, just, like, again, like, I feel like Legacy, like, pick a long-time veteran. Again, Campbell's a huge picker. Juan is someone I'd love to see stage 1 again, and this would be a huge way to see it. I mean, it feels really weird just invite someone who didn't even get the chance to qualify. Like, it doesn't even feel worth it in that way, either.
Yeah, I mean, at least Stratus, like, he would have, like, qualified if the night went that way. Like, at least then it kind of just felt like, close enough. We'll get you in. Like, it's fine, but so weird at the same time. That's the way I see it.
Absolutely. LeBlanc, unfortunately, didn't even do all that well on this course, as she ended up going out on the giant roller coaster, which was kind of just a surprise.
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere,
Yeah. After that, we had Caden Lepsek, who had an interesting one, getting Wine Stratus to commentate it. Yeah, Wine Stratus was commentating on Matt Ockball on this one, which was a pretty cool, I think. I think it would have been much prefer this over seeing him over, I think, honestly, this is a really cool way to get him involved and to show his commentating career and whatnot. He was a nice third voice to be added to this one to make it stick out a little bit more, as Kane himself didn't really have much of a special one, but he was on a really good pace all throughout, and just barely missed out on the fastest time by 0.3 of a second, allowing Noah Munio to walk away with it. And yeah, Noah Munio fucking got duped again.
Yeah! When we covered the first part of this episode, as we mentioned, his one was not the fastest time of the night. It was not shown. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, I understand. I understand. Logically speaking, his ones aren't special. And he did so well last year, and I'm pretty sure he's going to do the same this year. I understand that. But give him some justice. He needs to get the fastest time of the night. Like this.
Yeah, like, seriously, I think I'm definitely putting him in the Southeast Ninja category, because quite frankly, he deserves at least some more recognition than a fucking fast forward with the fastest time of the night. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, like, there's a lot of people who ran during both parts that I would probably pick the show his one during. Like, what the fuck?
This is like a lot of people I would think should have been shown in general. We'll get to a lot of them as we're coming up here, because a lot of them, they're going to be in this next section we're going to be talking about here, but it's just like interesting. It's just like interesting to see, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
After that, we had another fast forward segment featuring Josh Miller, who went on with the Jumping Spider, Benjamin Drake, who ended up going out on Thread the Needle, and timing out, and then we had Caleb Bergstrom.
Yeah, Caleb's definitely someone I would have not shown or given a fast forward to, because his one wasn't really all that special. One thing to note though, he's being a father at 24.
Yeah, that's really fucking young. Honestly, I don't think we have the right to say an opinion on this, because it's just in our business, but like, honestly, people can choose to have a kid when they want to, as long as they're decent parents. It really doesn't matter at that point. But it just seems like, again, really weird. Like, these two, they were just married, they're in their early 20s, and they're already having a fucking kid. Like, did anyone tell you just to slow down a bit? Just, like, how fast do you really think you need to fulfill all the requirements to have a standard life here in America? Like, Jesus Christ, you guys aren't even through a quarter of your standard American life here. Caleb's not even 25. I think Ashley's a little bit younger than that too. Like, it's fucking weird, and I don't know. I mean, you said it yourself earlier, it's not our place to really, criticize something like this, because people could do whatever the fuck they want with their lives. But I get what you're saying, it's just a little weird. Yeah, exactly. Going into Caleb's one, it really wasn't all that special. He had a really good fast time. I think he was the third fastest of the night, getting 49 on the clock.
I think he might have been fourth.
You think he was fourth?
I think he was fourth fastest.
Alright, we may clarify that later. Anyway, decent one from Caleb, and after that we had a full one from Barry Boyd, which really wasn't all that special.
Yeah, he had a segment about fatherhood again, and it felt like a retrend the last time. It was like more about the kids themselves this time around, and not about his foster care experience, but like, it's not special. Like, I just don't have an opinion about it.
Yeah, he had Billy Boy did improve from last year. Well, last year went out on the Jumping Spider. Here, he got past an obstacle, went out on the Gambler. And after that, we had Alex Nye in a fast-forward segment.
Yeah, he ended up going out and threading the needle. And after that, we had a one that solely should have been shown. Like, absolutely motherfucking should have been shown of one of these, like the Caleb Bergstrom and all these like fast ninjas who did not need to be shown, who did not have any kind of remarkable ones aside from going fast. Joe Meisner had the gutsiest run on stage one, clearing it with .74 left on the clock. Like, how could you not show a one like that?
Yeah, like, I guess that a one that takes up most of the time limit would probably take a lot of time to show. And you can't show everyone. But, like, what the fuck, man? Show that one. Like, a Gutsy one, like, those are, like, the highlights of the season. Ones like that, when you're really on the edge of your seat to see the Ninja's gonna clear, like, ones like Michael Torres' back in Season 8, or, like, Adam Wales in Season 13, like, you guys know that ones like that are amazing sights to see, just to see if the competitor would clear, even if they're not known. Like, on a competitor on, like, a streak like that, where they gotta climb the net quickly, or, like, really gotta pace themselves to get through, like, ones like that really need to be shown, especially this one being the slowest one. And I understand that, like, the next two shown ones are very similar ones to this one, because both of them are very gutsy performances. But, like, this one should have been shown probably over, one of the other ones, because, like, just again, I honestly fully agree, this one should have been shown over someone else's.
Yeah, and I think that person, as much as I am glad this one was shown, was probably Sam Folsom.
Yeah, if you had to not show one of these, I think Folsom was probably going to be the one you weren't going to show, just because they're all right next to each other. They kind of just picked, but I personally would much rather these swapped. I feel like I'd be complaining either way, most likely, but, like, it'd be much better for us to see Meisner's one, just because he got just a wee bit closer on that clock. And if we didn't already say it, Sam Folsom, he cleared with 2.5 seconds left to spare. Honestly, a gutsy performance as well, and a direct comparison right there as well. Definitely. The next fast forward segment, was after that, featuring Brandon Singletary, who was knocked out by the jumping spider. Veteran Connor Galvin, who unfortunately was knocked out by the Gambler, ending his season. And then we had Cal Pujols, who finally was able to strike gold on stage 1, clearing with 7 seconds left.
Yeah, I'm so glad Cal's moving on, is able to prove that he can, clear stage 1 after all the build-up he's had through Ninja Junior and stuff. Like, good for him. Very good for him.
Yeah, and after that, we had probably the best one of the night by far, James the Beast McGrath. Yeah, like, first off, that fail wheel, that segment he got, that was glorious all on its own, just, like, building up the fact that he hasn't cleared since Season 5, and he's been having trouble all these years, and he just wants it so badly. This one was really gutsy with him really putting it all in there. By the time the Jumping Spider was done, he was really struggling in the leg department, so he had to just gut out it, and the amount of determination in his face was crazy throughout all of that. And thankfully, like, despite all the struggling, he was able to pull it all together and clear stage 1 with 5 seconds to spare. Like, thank God this one was shown, and Jesus Christ, like, this is one of the best ones of the season.
Yeah, by far. Like, this is the total combination of James McGrath's, like, mini comebacks in Season 14. Like, he, just did a little bit better each time, and now he's finally back to his standard. Just in the nick of time, too, because of the whole No Mount Midoriyama in Season 17. Like, I am so happy for the Beast that he finally was able to do this.
Yeah, I was on the edge of my seat for this one. Really happy to see him clear and get one final hut, even if he doesn't move on past this, which I'm not expecting at this point. Just, what a one from James McGrath. Just, yeah, what a one.
Absolutely. After that, we had
Anna MacArthur in a fast-forward segment.
Yep, she unfortunately went out and slide sofa. Then we had Austin Gray, who's the clearing with 51 seconds left, and Josiah Papel, who also the clearing with a slightly faster time with 54 seconds left.
Yeah, like, ones like that, I understand getting fast-forwarded, even if they're big-time veterans, like, just fast ones with nothing remarkable about them aside from that, they don't need to be shown. And again, like, people like, I think Vance's one from last week is an example of that as well. I know he's the fucking winner and everything, but, like, I don't think we need to show him just because of that.
Yeah, but I think the big main attraction of this segment I want to go on about is fucking Taylor Green, man. Just, this one had me, like, on the edge of my seat. Like,
Yeah, same here, absolutely. Taylor, it was really up to her if we were going to see a woman on stage 2 this year. One last time. And she put up one hell of a fight, She still lost a good amount of time on the gambler and even the jumping spider to a certain degree, but just like last year, she was able to turn it on once she got past the gambler. And it really does seem to me that the only reason why she might be slow on the gambler is because she's trying to pace herself, which isn't really a bad idea if she can turn it on, and she can. Like, she got set, she got out the warp wall in one shot, she got past the dipping birds, unlike last year, and then she realized she had 30 seconds, she's like, I gotta go. So she went for it, and unfortunately she rushed Kane, thread the needle, where she got it in the wing, her hands, because she was just a little bit off with getting the hang off the hook. It kind of hung there for an extra, like, half a second, really, and because of that, she was kind of just, like, up in the air for a bit there. So, like, that kind of probably strapped her grip there, and once it landed the cane, her hand slid right off. And I think that fail probably hurt the most out of anything else here, just because that close of a one, she'll never get a chance to get revenge. We'll never see another woman on stage 2 here in America. Like, that hits really fucking hard. Like, that's what she was training to do, and the fact that she came that close twice, and like it hits you really hard.
Especially because of the fact that we had, I think, like 3 women that get to that back half.
Yeah, we had Abby Hillman, Abby Clark and Taylor Green get past the warp wall and get super duper close, and even before that, we also had Jessie Graff on the warp wall as well. And then last year, in the same year of filming, we had other ninjas who got similar points, like Barclay, Addie Hillman again, Taylor Green, that previous year. Like, this season, the women gave such a fight to possibly get one last stage 1 buzzer out of themselves. And it just didn't happen. It wasn't in the playing cards, and it was really unfortunate to see. Like, it was something I really wanted out of the season, and while yes, we got a very gutsy performance and something that really had me on the edge of my seat for the first time in a very long time, like, know the annoyance that causes that a one that close ends in, disappointment, where she gets knocked out like that, so close.
Yeah, I mean, if she had landed the cane, she would have moved on by the slimmest of margins.
Yeah, like 5 seconds left, just about, like, yeah. I think she would have cleared it if she just hung on. If she was just able to do it. And it's unfortunate that she won't be able to get another shot at it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, honestly, I think, like, there isn't going a way we'll see Vegas again in the state it is now. Like, the fact that they're already, like, downscaling the prize money, downscaling the competition itself. The show itself really has torn itself apart, and it's really unfortunate to see. And this is one of the byproducts of that, just the fact that, what the show once was all those years ago, it's going to be all gone within the next 2 to 3 weeks once the finale airs of this season. And it hurts. It hits. And it hits. It hits really hard.
Yeah, and because of that, the next winner, Joe Mawaski, the final winner of the night, also had a lot riding on this. As in addition to him being one of the older ninjas, so like his time already was running out in terms of age. His time was also running out. So like, yeah, it was all on the line for Mawaski. I, by and large, want to see him clear, and he was able to do it with 30 seconds left on the clock, with 33 seconds left on the clock. Just a really good run overall, and while yes, it wasn't really all that special, I guess, I'm so glad Mawaski got saved for the last one of the night, and it was really cool to see him again. Honestly, like we've said a lot of times here, he is one of like 3 to 4 ninjas who's still in it, who we'd love to see conquer that tower, who could probably do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that allows us to call it. That's stage 1 of ANW 16 all covered.
Yeah, like, we're here, we're done. So, alright. So, here's the thing with the next episode of the podcast that I want to flesh to you guys. The way ANW usually covers it before all this new season crap was they would do stages 2, 3, 4 all in one episode. It is most likely, though, that we're going to have 2 more episodes left, considering last year, as they had half a stage, we had all of stage 2 and then half of stage 3 in one episode, and then we had the finale the next week. I would think they'd do that again. So, with that in mind, and to make sure we get out this episode at a decent amount of time as well, our plan is to cover that episode, the next episode, and the finale in the next episode of the podcast to wrap up the season.
Yeah, as we've been doing, cover 2 episodes a podcast, man, we really did hit it home on that whole idea anyway, right?
Yeah, we covered at least 2 episodes in every podcast, even a whole 4. Even a whole 4 qualifying rounds during that one episode that was 90 minutes. That was over 80 minutes. We really were able to hit it home this year. And that's the plan for the finale of the ANW 16 coverage here.
Yeah, and after that, we're definitely taking a small break from all this to allow ourselves to get our lives back on track and everything. I will promise you this. We're going to meet up for the Sasuke World Cup and cover that. Then we'll probably announce the Stage 5 Ninja Awards and then cover those. And from there, we'll see what happens. We might cover Sasuke 41. It's definitely likely that as long as things don't go awry again, we'll cover Sasuke 42 when that comes out later this year. And from there, I think the Team Ninja stuff will probably be on the talking if we can make it there. If we can still be up for that.
Yeah, so that's 3 episodes for post stuff, and then 1 more after this one, obviously the next one. And from that point, I think we'll give you guys a full-on update on what's going to happen with the podcast and everything. Hopefully we'll know what's going on from that point as we keep going, as we cover the World Cup, as we cover the next Sasuke tournament, as we cover the Stage 5 Ninja Awards. We'll hopefully know what's going on with that, and we can give you guys some true answers on that. Yeah, but you think that's it? You think we're ready to end this off? Yeah, I think so. We will see you guys next time for stages 2, 3, and 4 in the ANW 16 final 2 episodes. Peace.